What if the biggest thing stopping you isn't lack of time, but the business myths you still believe? Every year, millions of people dream about starting a business. Most never do, not because they don't work hard enough or lack talent, because they believe myths that quietly keep them stuck. Today, we're breaking down 7 business myths that keep beginners broke, overwhelmed, and waiting for the perfect time. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which myths are holding you back and what successful entrepreneurs believe instead. We're LifeWise Space, and we help people build their first business and develop practical skills to grow in business, work, and life. So let's start with one of the biggest myths of all. Most people spend months, sometimes years, waiting for the perfect business idea. The first myth is one of the most expensive and is also one of the biggest reasons people never start. You need a brilliant, original business idea. You don't. In fact, waiting for the perfect idea keeps more people from starting than having no idea at all. Why do so many people believe this? Because we hear stories about companies that changed the world and assume they all began with revolutionary ideas. Most didn't. Google wasn't the first search engine. Facebook wasn't the first social network. Airbnb didn't invent renting out a room. They didn't win because they were first. They won because they built a better solution to an existing problem. Here's a simple rule to remember. Customers don't pay for originality, they pay for value. So instead of asking, has someone already done this? Ask yourself, can I make it better? Can I make it simpler? Can I make it faster? Can I serve a different audience? Before you look for a business idea, look for a problem people complain about, a solution people already pay for, and one way to improve it. Stop chasing the next billion-dollar idea. Start solving someone's everyday problem. Because customers don't pay for originality, they pay for value. People don't wake up hoping to buy something original. They wake up hoping to solve a problem. Customers don't care if your idea is new. They care if it makes their life better. If you've ever said, I'll start my business when I have more money, you're not alone. But that's one of the biggest myths in business. Yes, some businesses require significant investment, but many don't. Thousands of successful businesses started with little more than a laptop, a useful skill, and a customer. Here's what beginners often get backwards. They think, first I need money, then I'll create value. Successful entrepreneurs think, first I create value, then money follows. Instead of asking, how can I raise money? Ask, what problem can I solve with the skills and resources I already have? Maybe it's writing, design, marketing, photography, video editing, AI, tutoring, cooking, or helping local businesses get more customers. Your first business doesn't have to be expensive, it has to be useful. Because customers don't invest in your business, they pay for the value you create. So don't wait until you have more money. Start with what you already have and build from there. So if you don't need a brilliant idea and you don't need a lot of money, then maybe you need to quit your job first. That's myth number 3. One of the worst financial decisions many beginners make is quitting too early. So if you don't need a brilliant idea and you don't need a lot of money, maybe you need to quit your job first. One of the biggest mistakes new entrepreneurs make is quitting too early. Movies make entrepreneurship look like one big leap. Real life usually looks very different. Many successful entrepreneurs built their businesses before they left their jobs. Why? Because a job gives you more than just a paycheck. It teaches you how to communicate with different people, how to meet deadlines, how to solve problems under pressure, how to work in a team, how to manage difficult customers, how to become more disciplined and resilient. Those are business skills. And if you're lucky, your current job might even be in the same industry where you want to start your own business. That means you're getting paid to learn. You're building experience, understanding customers, making professional connections, and seeing how a real business operates from the inside. So instead of asking, when should I quit? Ask, what skills can I learn here before I leave? Don't quit because you're excited, quit because you're ready. Your job can help you build your business, but only if you don't fall into the next trap. Many people spend years preparing instead of actually starting. This myth sounds smart, but it's one of the biggest forms of procrastination. People tell themselves, I just need one more course, one more book, one more certificate. Then I'll be ready. The problem is, confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You can spend 2 years studying entrepreneurship and still learn more in your first month of actually building a business. Why? Because some lessons can't be taught. You learn them by talking to customers, making mistakes, improving your product, adjusting your prices, solving real problems. Learning is one of the best investments you can make. But knowledge without action is just information. Here's a simple rule. Learn, apply, improve, repeat. Don't wait until you know everything. Start before you feel ready and keep learning as you grow. Once you stop waiting to feel ready, another question usually appears. But who will buy from me if nobody knows me? That's myth number 5. One of the biggest misconceptions today is that you need a huge audience before you can make money. You don't. Followers don't automatically become customers, and customers don't always become followers. A business with 100 loyal customers is often far more valuable than an account with 100,000 followers who never buy anything. Think about it. Would you rather have 1,000,000 views or 10 paying customers? The answer is obvious. Instead of chasing followers, focus on solving real problems for real people. One happy customer becomes a review. A review builds trust. Trust brings more customers. That's how many successful businesses actually grow. Of course, building an audience is one of the best long-term investments you can make. It creates trust, it attracts opportunities, and it gives your business a platform to grow. But don't wait for thousands of followers before you start selling. You don't need everyone's attention. You only need your first customer. But even after you get one mistake still stops more businesses than almost anything else. Perfection feels productive, but most of the time, it's just fear wearing a different disguise. People spend months designing logos, choosing colors, rewriting their business plan, trying to make everything perfect before anyone has even become a customer. Here's the problem. Customers don't care if your logo is perfect. They care whether your product solves their problem. The sooner you launch, the sooner you get feedback. The sooner you get feedback, the sooner you improve. The businesses that grow the fastest aren't the ones that launch perfectly. They're the ones that improve the fastest. Launch, listen, improve, repeat. Because your first version isn't supposed to be your final version. Done is almost always better than perfect. Because your first version isn't supposed to be your final version. Quality doesn't come from endless planning. Quality comes from real feedback, real customers, and continuous improvement. Because every successful business started with an imperfect first version. But even if you overcome every myth we've talked about so far, there's still one myth that quietly destroys businesses, even after they launch. Many people believe that if I love what I do, success will follow. It sounds inspiring, but it's incomplete. Passion can help you keep going. It doesn't guarantee customers. Customers don't buy your passion. They buy solutions. They buy convenience. They buy results. The businesses that survive aren't always built around the founder's biggest passion. They're built around problems people are willing to pay to solve. That doesn't mean you should ignore your interests. The best businesses often happen where your skills, your interests, and a real market need come together. That's exactly why, in our book, Start Your First Online Business, From Idea to First Income, we talk about finding business ideas through real problems and the Ikigai principle, where what you enjoy, what you're good at, what people need, and what they're willing to pay for all intersect. So don't just ask, what am I passionate about? Also ask, what problem can I solve? Because passion might inspire you to start, but value is what helps your business grow. Let's recap. You don't need a brilliant idea. You don't need a lot of money. You don't have to quit your job. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You don't need thousands of followers. You don't need everything to be perfect. And passion alone isn't enough. Successful businesses don't start with perfect conditions. They start with action, learning, and solving real problems. If you remember just one thing from this video, let it be this. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start creating value today. And if you're ready to take your first step, we've put together a free business starter kit with practical tools and resources to help you find your business idea, validate it, and start building. You'll find the link in the description. We've also included links to our book, Start Your First Online Business, From Idea to First Income. More free business articles, our premium business kit, and our complete business course if you want to keep learning. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to LifeWise Space. Every week we share practical advice on business, productivity, and the real-world skills that help you build a better career, business, and life. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 myths have you believed the longest, or which one changed the way you think today? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you in the next video.